Hello and welcome to Your Average Critics, joined today by Chris and Ollie's, the first episode where Obi hasn't been able to make it.
Ooh, snap.
Yeah, so you can throw shade in his direction. Still no sign of Joe, don't know where he is. If you've seen him, then tweet us.
Listen.
So I've had a look at the various film websites. Doesn't seem there's been any major film news this week.
What's the film news from last week? What did I miss about the Justice League? Who got their arsehole torn?
Who got their what?
Their arsehole torn.
Glenn agreed that it wasn't. It was good. It was decent.
No,
Oh,
I
Glenn.
didn't say that. I just said it wasn't terrible. Have you seen
It
it?
was decent.
I haven't seen it. No, Obi called me out, so I'm not allowed to see it.
We tried to see it in Cologne in German, but
Why?
well, actually, we didn't try and see it in German. Because Nee hadn't seen it, and Obi wanted to see it again. We had 12 hours to kill before our flight, and so we walked to the cinema. And I said to them, "Oh, is it in English with German subtitles, or is it in German?" And she was like, "No, it's in German." And
That would have been wicked.
I said it probably would have made the film better,
Yeah,
because then you
Batman
can't hear all the
Day.
shitty dialogue.
Yeah, it's
But
true.
What's I'm Batman in German?
Ich bin Batman.
Batman.
I think Bat is Fledermaus or something.
That shows.
But yeah,
So what's man?
man
It's a Flugger
with
mouse
two
man.
ends.
Flagger Mouse Man.
Oh my days, that'd be so nice.
And then Spider is Spinner, so it would be Spinnerman.
Yeah. That's banging.
What about Aquaman?
Or it'd be Vaso is water, so Wasserman. I don't know.
Awesome.
I don't know if there's an actual word for
Wonder
aqua.
Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Oh,
Wunderfraulein.
Yeah, that is jokes.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you caved.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
It's a lot better than he thought it was going to be, basically. Or it's better than he thought it was going to be.
Well, you guys said that you put on the chat that they made their money back pretty much in opening weekend, didn't you?
No.
For the budget.
Well, from the
They-
budget.
But yeah, not for marketing.
Oh, so at the moment, I think when I looked the other day, they've made 338 million and they spent 300.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
they've made 38 million.
for a film like this to do anything less than about 800 million would be absolute,
Do you think it's only
Flop.
just because it's like if people don't want to watch Avengers or Marvel that DC is like their thing, that this is like
I just
that
think,
target audience? Or do you think like people would not really care?
I just
Like
don't think you got enough
I'm pretty sure
traction.
you're Marvel over DC, aren't you?
Yeah, probably at the moment, yeah. I'm good for both, but yeah, I think Marvel are doing better. So.
I can't imagine anyone would have such an agenda against the other or such a passion for one that they would refuse to watch the other. Because it's like comic books is just, it's like an overall thing. Like, if you enjoy superhero films, you should
True.
probably enjoy lots of...
I think there is a
Kick-Ass
loyalty though, isn't there?
There is a
There's
loyalty.
definitely like,
Yeah.
I prefer this over that.
Yeah.
And it's like all the DC
Well, this is
fans
it.
about now moaning that there's an agenda against DC from critics. And I'm like, shut up.
They cut loads from the film though, like loads of
Yeah.
stuff.
What do
Yeah.
you mean?
To like make it shorter. Like, it should have been like near 3 hours, but instead it was just over 2.
What do you think they cut though?
I think they cut pivotal scenes of character building, and I think they cut.
Was it all
And
just
more-
like one word liner or one liners from each character? Like someone having a conversation and they just say one line. And it's just like a sarky comment.
I
or
think
something.
Flash was that character,
Mm.
but the rest of them did have quite a lot of dialogue.
Oh,
Like,
yeah?
yeah.
Nah, Aquaman didn't really. He was just, bro.
But to be fair to him, he wasn't in the film that much. If you
Okay.
think about it, they cut a lot of his stuff because apparently there's meant to be a lot of dialogue between him and Cyborg. But I think because so spoiler, the idea is that Aquaman isn't originally on board with it, and then one of these mother boxes gets taken from Atlantis. So then he's like, "Oh, I'm on board now." Like,
Does he live in Atlantis?
Yeah,
That's his god.
yeah.
But like Obi was tweeting something about he wants there to be more consistency within the DCEU because a critic or an article was moaning about the fact that when they're in Atlantis underwater, for Mira, which is one of the Atlanteans, and Aquaman to speak, she creates this air bubble so they can talk normally. And they were like, James Wan Aquaman is going to suck if he does this. And James Wan, who's the director of Aquaman, said, "Oh no, there aren't going to be any air bubbles for talking in my film. They'll just talk normally underwater." So that's already an inconsistency, right?
Wait, hold on. No. Because I feel like the air bubble was created to give them privacy rather than to have the dialogue.
But I don't know, because it looked like, if you see the scene before she creates that bubble, it looks like they are like looking at one another to try and communicate, but they can't without the air bubble. But either way, it's not immediately obvious, is it? Because the only way
True.
they communicate is in that air bubble underwater.
True.
And also things like the Amazonian princess's dress was a lot skimpier in Justice League. It just little things like
But
that.
to be fair, like I think the little things, I think people don't actually think of that whole context. So like Wonder Woman's costume may have changed because she's more modern now. Like the film that she was in.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman's costume might have changed. But the Amazonians, they've been on that island, and that island is not influenced by outside.
True.
events.
However, it's been hundreds of years, so they could have changed. I'm just saying, there's a point of view for both ways. I think to look at it, and I think majority of people watching this film are taking a negative point of view rather than a neutral one. I think.
True. But I think the thing is, and obviously people bemoan the fact I compare it to Marvel. They haven't had the chance to establish anything.
Well, they haven't had.
They've
jumped
do
in,
one.
haven't they?
They do one film where one rule is like this, and then in the complete next film, it's different. Like,
well,
I don't know.
I thought you meant like, so obviously Avengers had all the
characters already built.
Individual movies, yeah. I mean, maybe DC are going to do it just going backwards.
Well, I think because what they're going to do now, they're going to do Cyborg, they're going to do Flash, they're going to do Aquaman, and then they're going to probably do
Justice League 2.
Batman, and then Justice League 2.
Yeah.
Whether
Is there going to be a Deathstroke individual film, or is he going to be Batman?
Batman film. Because originally Ben Affleck was going to write a script, he wrote a script, and then he was going to direct it. But then he decided not to direct it, then they're not using his script anymore. And then he's pretty much recently come out saying he's not sure how many more films he's going to do. He's got contracted for 2 more.
But they haven't started filming the Batman, as far as I'm aware, which means it's going to be at least 2 years.
I think they have.
Oh, really?
I think they have, because I'm pretty sure the guy who's playing Deathstroke posted something, like a scene.
Okay.
So,
Can I ask if Superman's in this one?
You can.
Do you want to know?
Oh yeah, I want to know.
he's in it, yeah.
He is he the guy at the
so
end?
at the very
you.
at the very beginning.
That's not even in the film. That's been cut.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
That was like
Yeah.
the suspense bit though.
Well, it basically Superman's at the very beginning on a recording, and this little girl was just asking him what he likes about Earth, and he just looks away and smiles. And we originally thought it was he wasn't really sure what he liked about it, but I watched a video and this woman was saying, "Oh, he's smiling because he's thinking of Lois Lane." And then that whole first scene is to show that his attachment to Lois Lane. And then I was like, that sounds pretty interesting and pretty good. But then I thought back and I was like, no, actually, that's a pretty rubbish stance to. She might be right, but that's pretty rubbish, because we can tell from Man of Steel, and we can tell from Batman vs Superman that he's madly in love with Lois Lane. He like nearly kills a whole place of. I assume there were terrorists in the Batman vs Superman film.
Yeah,
like,
but
just for her.
There's also that scene in the second or third trailer for Justice League where it's like it looks like it's a dream from her, and she says something about her ring. Do you remember that? And he's standing in the field. That's not in the film either.
Yeah, this is true.
But then also the other opening where Batman is fighting that criminal. The guy who plays the criminal, he's also in Mindhunter. He said that was supposed to be a comedic scene that Joss Whedon
did, and
the studio recut it to make it a bit more serious, which is kind of like they got Joss Whedon in and told Zack Snyder to lighten it up a bit, and then when they do, they're like, oh no, this is too. I don't feel like they know what they're doing.
No, honestly, it might be beneficial if Disney just bought it and just took over the whole thing.
What,
I don't know.
Disney
to
own DC as well?
They're not doing a great job with Star Wars.
Well, some would disagree.
I think the Last Jedi is going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think Rogue One's pretty good.
Yeah.
Rogue One was great.
Yeah.
But that was the spin-off.
This is true.
Still Disney.
No denying that.
Well, I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Ooh. I'm not going to be able to see it until after Christmas, so
Why?
no spoilers. Because I traditionally go and see it with Lauren's stepdad, so we have
That's true. It's
an
a family thing for us as well.
Star Wars trip. Annuals in the last 2 years.
2 years, I was going to say.
Yeah, but
fair enough.
We're going to see it together.
Nice bonding moment. I like it.
So it'll have to be 2018 when I give my review, but you obviously can talk about it, and I'll just put my fingers in my ears.
We'll probably end up doing a podcast with Glenn not being here, probably in Southampton.
Wow. Yeah, fair, probably.
Or actually, not in Southampton.
Yes.
In
Southampton.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's a big old place.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've got any listeners that are out for my blood.
Just gonna be on
Do we have any listeners?
Gonna be on Facebook. Spotted Glenn Peters.
Yeah. Paparazzi all over the place. I'm like, just give me my privacy. Yeah.
All right, Kanye.
So what have we been watching this week? Did you watch anything on the flight to Norway?
No, but I did watch a couple of things. But I tell you what, I have absolutely smashed this week, which I think both of you watch, is Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what, have you seen both series?
Seen both series, yep, smashed it out, which was mental because it's like almost an hour an episode, and 19 episodes or whatever. I was like, that's almost 20 hours, and I have a 40-hour work week. That's so sad.
That's true.
Hard life of being a TV watcher.
So what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I saw a short article and it was just like all Netflix's original series ranked, and Stranger Things wasn't in the top 10, which I thought it would have been because people just rave about it. But I think that might be just because it's mainstream.
I don't think enough people watch it.
Mindhunter was in the top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously that and Stranger Things is totally different.
Yeah.
The concept that
You also got
this
things
is like sci-fi.
you also got like BoJack Horseman and
yeah.
the last couple of series of Arrested Development. So I think there's a lot of competition there.
I think as well. I don't know how many more older adults watch Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe more of a younger adult
definitely
kind of drama.
So did you watch both series like within a short space of time?
Yeah, within a week.
Okay, so what are your overall thoughts of both series?
I really liked it. Obviously, I assume they tried to do something similar with the second series because the first series just took off so well. So like she had all the Christmas lights up, and then in the second one they had like the map. So like that kid, when he comes back to the house, he's like, oh my god, not again. Mum's gone mental. I really enjoy it. I love those kind of films where it's like there's something going on mysterious in this small little town, but I hated it that only a few people know, but they don't tell each other what they fucking know. So if everyone does share a little bit, they'd all be like, no, Mum, you're not going mental.
That was your problem with Will, wasn't it? Like, he just doesn't tell people what's happening.
Really, if he had just told people from the beginning that a slug fell out of his mouth, then a lot of problems could have been sorted, I reckon.
No, it was good though, because like I've seen like Super 8. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
That's kind of similar. You know, you're following the kids, and it's always the kids that stumble across the.
I think they tried to do it though. They tried to make it so they had kids similar to. Is it Stand By Me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because they have them 4 kids that have like really good chemistry, and that's what they tried to do with Super 8. Tried to get kids who had really good chemistry. And I thought they did really well actually in that.
I wanted to ask though, is it one of the kids the same from It?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. One who plays Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's jokes.
There was a thing the other day, like loads of people giving them stick because they Will stick because he didn't like stand for an autograph with them.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he had an interview about it, and he was like, well, he saw some kids, and then they followed him basically back to his house, and then they asked for an interview, for a picture. And he was like, no, because you just followed me back to my house. And I was like, fair play to him. Like, they have like not given him privacy.
They've got to have a life as well.
Yeah. And they're like 14, aren't they? It's like madness. Like.
That's the thing. Like, they're not going to have much of a quote-unquote normal childhood, are they? When you got
this is it. All eyes on them now.
Like King Joffrey got out of the biz, but he's still going to have a bad life. Paparazzi.
Well, yeah. What if your acting career fails? You know.
Well, this is it. Yeah.
But I do enjoy it. So watching like the kids, the innocent of them, and the naivety. But it's I don't know. It's strange seeing however many series it's going to go on for. It's really weird.
They've already said
how they. Like watching the kids grow up. So if have you seen Modern Family?
Yeah.
Series 1 to now, like Luke, who was like a baby, is now like 18, 20.
It's
how
mad,
I don't know
how
old he is, but
he's part of that
Mensa.
Mensa, yeah. He's well smart. It's mad, isn't it?
So
he's acts so dumb on the programme and he's so smart.
Which series did you prefer?
Probably the first.
Really? Why?
Yeah. I don't know, just because it was something different, even though it's actually exactly the same as some of the things that I like. But I just thought that the second was the exact same, but just expanded a lot more.
And what do you feel about the introduction of the new characters, Max and Samwise?
Samwise, yeah, I know. What? Oh mate, that was so funny.
He's in it for Bear as well. I thought he wouldn't actually be in that much, but he actually was.
Oh yeah, but you knew he's not gonna make it. No, I thought they did really well actually bringing new characters in, but I wasn't expecting them to not. To be fair, but it is difficult when you have like a a small group. So like the 4 kids, and then you have like 11. And she was really the 4th kid, wasn't she? And then you're just like, how do you add on and this group expands? But I think it's because they had lots of little different groups. So they had Stephen, I forgot his girlfriend's name.
What is her name?
Nancy. Steve, Nancy,
it.
but then obviously she was close with Jonathan, so they had like a little trio. And then there's like the mum and Hopper, the police chief, so they have their kind of little group. And then when they all came together, you're like, yes, this is a squad.
I didn't like the fact that they all had their individual
You
bits.
didn't?
No, because the whole point that series 1 worked so well for me was the 4 kids interacting with one another all the time.
I think a lot of it was to do with scheduling, I think, because one of the characters is obviously, I know Power Rangers was a while ago, but he might have been in post-production for a second one, I don't know. And then obviously you got the kid doing it as well, so...
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah,
so, new characters...
You didn't like them?
I didn't like them being too separate, but I still thought every episode ended really strongly with cliffhanger, and you're like... Oh,
definitely, yeah.
But then, what are your thoughts on the kind of... filler episode, if you were, or
which one did you think was the filler episode?
Not filler, but it was just so jarred with the rest of the series. Episode 7, when she's with 8 and her little band of
stupid
cronies.
Oh yeah.
What did you? I thought it was terrible. What would you?
I don't know. I didn't like the fact that there was actually another kid that was like just okay out in the world, and because she was with her mum as well. That I think that episode at the beginning of that episode.
Yeah.
And that like had nothing. Nothing was going on. She was just like, I just went and saw Mama, and then she ends up leaving her anyway. So
it was
I didn't
pointless.
really see the point in that.
I think they're trying to open up a new kind of side to it for future series, but just they should have kept it within the same tone of the rest of the series.
You think?
It really felt like you're watching something else.
Maybe they were just introducing though 8 because potentially she's going to come up in series 3. Like her little gang gets killed or whatever because of 11 leaving, and so she hunts down 11 to be like, you killed my gang.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. It kind of almost reminded me of the TV series Dark Angel. Did you ever watch it? I think it was Jessica Alba, and they had the barcodes. Ever watched it? Okay. Well,
I heard about it, but
yeah.
I never saw it.
Just okay. We'll move on to it. No one's seen it, so it's just essentially like looking for the other people with the barcodes, I think. But I think that monster from the end of season 2 is gonna be too much. I think
they've gone very much from like one single monster in the first season, which was like you didn't really get a good look at it until like halfway through the season, and then you're like, oh my god, there's this like killer thing, and then straight into season 2, there's a fucking army of them. There's this huge monster. You can't really get much bigger than that. And how do you go back on it to say that there's a threat that's smaller, but that kind of like the mysterious of like.
The only thing I think they could go for is once that monster's killed, someone's been just orchestrating the whole thing, maybe. But then still, that's not a great.
Maybe there'll be a conflict within the group.
Yeah.
Well, there's still something to do with her 11's dad. You know, the guy who was experimenting on her. He's still alive, isn't he?
Well, is
Must
he?
be.
Yeah, it said in the show. The other scientist was like, oh yeah, he's still alive. And then he goes to visit her as well. Although that might have been a dream, but yeah, it's heavily suggested.
Implied. And is that her real dad?
Don't know. I thought it was, but I think it might.
Yeah, that's it, Papa.
Yeah.
And then did we explain last week why Hopper had all the had all the information underneath his?
Well, we assume it's from his case files, right? Like looking into.
That's what I thought. But I just thought, why would he leave?
He's looking into the.
I was like, why would you leave it in the
isn't
house that 11's living in? That just seemed really dumb to me.
But he used that house as storage, didn't
Yeah,
he?
it's on the floor.
True. I don't know. I just thought maybe his dad was involved somehow.
Oh, right.
Just
Ooh,
for
what
another
a twist.
Yeah.
Chris is throwing in a spanner.
So let's talk about another Netflix show, The Punisher. So we've both seen all of it. So we'll go into spoiler-free details. I can't imagine you're going to be watching it.
No, go for it.
So this is, was it the 6th Marvel Netflix production after the 2 Daredevils, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders. Oh, the 7th. So it follows. It's a spin-off. Quick maths.
Oh yeah, quick maths.
It's a spin-off of Daredevil Series 2, which introduces us to the Punisher. So John Bernthal's Punisher, his family are dead. Basically beats people up, and
He's already established as the Punisher as well.
What's
Yeah.
that? Anti-hero?
I don't even know if you could call him an anti-hero. He's just a
He's a guy
Flat-out
out
villain.
for vengeance, really. And,
Yeah.
Punisher.
and in some respects, you'd say he's right too, because his family were killed, and he has no idea as to why they were killed.
yeah.
But besides the fact that someone was targeting him,
Yeah, so the end of series 2 of Daredevil, he dies, but you know people know he's alive, but only a few people. And then this is him like living covertly, but trying to basically hunt down and kill the people that he feels are associated with his family's death. And then concurrently, there's a guy who's a computer whiz called Micro. He's also assumed dead because he was framed by the FBI for leaking secrets or something. Anyway, there's all this like military conspiracy. There's a FBI agent called Madoni. She's trying to shed light on a illegal CIA operation which involves Frank Castle, who's the Punisher. So it's all like different plot strands intertwining. And yeah, basically, you know, obviously there's betrayals and blah, blah, blah.
How does this one rank out of your
I don't
other
know,
6,
I've got
7?
like a really mixed opinion of it. Like,
Why?
some of it was a bit like, just meh. I was like, okay.
Like what?
Right.
What?
I just don't know. There was points, there was literally episodes where I just wasn't engaged, and this is one that I actually sat there and watched
You sure you just
while
weren't
I
hungover?
while I wasn't doing anything. I actually
What?
because I was like, I have to concentrate on some of these bits because he's talking about bits, and I don't want to miss anything like key. And I was like, there was a really good episode. Don't get me wrong, but there was episodes where I was like, okay, well this is just dragging on. You're just killing loads of people, and you seem to be having absolutely no problem whatsoever. Like,
Yeah.
not in terms of like, oh, I've killed someone, I feel really bad. Like in terms of he could just literally kill anyone and get away with it, and there would be no one like looking out for him or like. Madonna wasn't even going after him originally, was she? And then he saved her, and then it was like, oh, okay, well, forget about Frank Castle for a bit, killing people. We're just gonna look into this other problem that we've got going on in the FBI.
Mm.
So I don't know. And I just thought, as soon as his mate was like, oh, do you know Frank Castle's alive still, to the other mate, I was like,
What,
you're definitely...
Billy Russo?
Yeah, as soon as he asked the other guy who does the meetings, I've forgotten his name.
I want to say Clive, but no, it begins with a C.
As soon as I was like, you're the villain. I was like, you are the bad guy in all this. I know you are.
Yeah.
But it's obviously going to happen. It was obvious because a friend is always essentially the baddie in these things, isn't it? It's like someone really close who can...
Frenemy.
Yeah, pretty much. And then the ending as well was I was a bit like, I would definitely have killed him.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get why he... Maybe
There must
it
be
was...
some big villain that I haven't looked into because essentially...
According to IMDb, his name's Jigsaw.
No.
Maybe because he had his face like basically
Yeah.
Frank, like this glass pane was broken,
Oh, it was
and he
grim.
got his face and he just scraped it across it, and then just smashed his face into it, and then gave him a few stabs, punched him a few times.
Nice.
I thought the
definitely
last
thought
episode was very, very boring.
Yeah, I definitely thought Madonna had her eye shot out as well. She just got hit in the temple. I mean, which is
Yeah.
still damaging, obviously, but I was genuinely thinking she had her eye blown
I
out.
thought she
dead.
was dead.
Yeah, that was They just let him. Oh.
Is it like gruesome, gory, or?
It's very,
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
gory, very
it's
gory,
incredibly
yeah.
violent.
I do rank it up there. Don't get me wrong. Like it's out of the Marvel ones, it's up there. But I don't know.
I think I'd put it third after the 2 Daredevils.
Okay, so what's your ranking then? Daredevil.
Daredevil 2, Daredevil 1, Punisher, then
You liked Iron Fist though, didn't you?
I didn't mind Iron Fist. The thing is, the first half of Luke Cage was so good that would be right up there, but then the second half was so bad. So I'd probably say then Iron Fist.
Didn't like Defenders.
Didn't mind it.
I actually quite like Jessica Jones.
Defenders, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage. I mean, I know I've spoken about this list before, and it's probably...
I think it's a difficult one though, because it's rather than a film where you watch it for an hour, it's a whole series that you watch.
Yeah.
And they do all like fit.
I
Almost
think
like a jigsaw.
John Bernthal a really good actor. Like, he does angry so well. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like... He's...
Is this the Punisher?
Yeah.
So he played Shane in The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So when he's beating people up, he's going... and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's scared the fuck.
Yeah.
But I did think it got a bit repetitive. Like, it's basically... Like, he doesn't... You know, he doesn't talk. He's punch first and not bother talking later. Like he literally would just walk up to someone. They'll be standing there like outside this thing. You just punch on the back of the head, like beat the crap out of him, and you're like, that guy's actually done absolutely nothing to you.
Yeah.
So in that way, I was a bit like, come on, like how many people are you just gonna beat up? And also like he just gets. I mean, how he's not dead from all his injuries.
Yeah,
like,
that is
obviously.
mad.
Do you think it's easier though, because you were saying about the rage, like him being, do you think it's easier showing rage? Because I thought that would be one of the easier emotions to act.
I don't know. I
Because
feel
you can
like
literally just stub your toe and be like, and then channel that anger.
But I feel
whereas,
like you could think of like emotional scenes to make you upset, like things in your past, but things that make you angry, like genuinely angry. I don't know how.
I think like serious, like you've got to just. So it's like you and me are talking, having a serious conversation, and trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
I think would be the hardest.
No,
thing.
that guy, the guy's that comedian who's now the rapper, the one who's Man's Not Hot. Man's Too Hot.
Yeah.
Was it? Man's
Big
Not
Shaq.
Hot?
Big
Yeah.
Shaq.
The way how he can sit there and say stuff with that, like he doesn't talk like that in real life and not laugh. It's just he was on Soccer AM and he was it was so funny. Like. But
there's like a lot of the outtakes with like Will Ferrell as well, because he's amazing at improv.
yeah.
And I watched Eastbound and Down, and there's a serious scene between him, Craig Robinson, and
Danny McBride.
Yeah. And they're like having a serious thing, and then Will Ferrell's just chatting shit in their ear. And there's so many outtakes of them just cracking up. He's like, I'm going to take your mama out for a nice dinner, and I'm not going to call her again.
But yeah, I thought Punch was over long. I don't feel like it needed to be 13 episodes.
No, it definitely didn't.
Like the last episode just felt really drawn out. Like they could have included him finding and beating up Billy Russo in episode 12.
It's probably even 11. There was so much stuff that they added for like.
Yeah, the subplot with Lewis, the gun crazed vet.
Yeah, what the hell?
That felt pretty tacked on. I mean, I know what they're trying to say something about gun control and the treatment of veterans, but it just kind of felt like they had the original scripts and they were like, this is only going to cover 6 episodes, so we need to flesh it out a bit. You don't need to. Why does it need to be 13 episodes?
Yeah,
Defenders was 8.
They kind of, oh yeah, it was actually, wasn't it? I think they kind of just tried to show a different side to Punisher as well, like that he is someone who doesn't want to take shit for like, because he was pretty pissed off that guy had done that, wasn't he? And I don't know, it was. I get what you mean. There was it was good, but I don't know. Yeah, just didn't tick all the boxes for me.
Don't know if I really want to see a series 2.
Yeah,
I don't mind him being part of Daredevil, but to see him have his own thing again, I don't know.
Ooh. Well,
I can't remember if he's good mates with Spider-Man or if he's one of Spider-Man's top villains.
Like Punisher.
Yeah, because it's like the really famous like comic book scene where Punisher's like carrying like a half dead like Spider-Man out of some building, and people are like basically wishing that will be in the Infinity War.
There's no way they're going to have the Punisher in the MCU because it's far too violent. Like the blood and
True, but he could be just travelling somewhere and then he sees like a big thing in the skylight and he could be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
He's not got any superpowers, is he? He's just a hench dude.
Yeah.
Very durable.
Mental.
Yeah. You can take a motherfucking beating.
Yeah, he got beaten as well, and one of them absolutely pummeled.
That's I prefer. This can sound horrendous, but I prefer this sort of more realistic violence to the stuff you get in Justice League, where they actually just bitch slap one another and go.
But they are really powerful in Justice League, though, aren't they?
I know, but it's just.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not like, this is
not realistic.
This is what I was trying to say though, like, and I think a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but like, I know you've got like Thor, who's a god, and you've got Iron Man, who's in a robotic suit, and you've got the Hulk, who can basically destroy anything. But I believe in some respects they're all beatable characters. Like, I feel someone could take down the Hulk or shoot him off to a planet, and someone could just take off Iron Man's suit and just kill him. Or Thor, well, he seemed like he could be beaten quite easily, but the Justice League heroes, you just don't get the sense that they could be beaten that easily. Like Batman, they tried to make him more human in this, so that he could be beaten. But Wonder Woman, she seems pretty untouchable. Superman is pretty much.
So you want there to be more like
But I don't know how
mortality.
I don't know how they could do it though, unless they showed actually Wonder Woman getting a fatal hit. I don't know if she got
gets
shot.
a cut.
Yeah, like something like that. And Cyborg, well, he just was. I know he got knocked away a few times, but he literally just would go into any machine and instantaneously be able to take control
his
of it.
leg ripped off.
Yeah,
and they put it back on.
Well, which is what he is in the comics, but like, I just don't know. Like, yeah, mortality would be ideal, I think, but I don't know how they could put that in.
He's like the perfect phone charger, and he just got every USB socket.
Probably could.
Anything.
Probably could. Yeah, that's the thing. But yeah. What was the original point?
Don't know. You went off on that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. So Punisher.
Punisher.
Where would you put it then?
I'm kind of with you though. Like, I think a lot of the Marvel series have had really high points and then just really just like slumped. They haven't executed the ending very well. I think. And I think a big part of it is because of how many episodes it is. Like, I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think a lot of people do really like it, especially season 3 onwards, but there's so many episodes, like, to catch up now. It's just like, oh, what a drag kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Daredevil 1 and 2, yeah, they're top up there. I did like Luke Cage, so that could potentially be better than Punisher. Maybe even Jessica Jones, because I actually really enjoyed that. I did rewatch part of it the other day and I thought it was quite good. But yeah, it's probably up. It's top 5, I'd say, probably, because I did enjoy it. It's just some bits where I was a bit like, oh, okay, whatever. I like the friendship that Frank and was it Micro?
I felt really sorry for Micro because basically, like, Micro's the computer whiz and he wants Frank to help prove this government conspiracy. So then he can basically be exonerated and go back to his family. Frank just treats him like absolute shit. Like, Micro's like, oh, let's, we both need something from one another. Let's just be partners. And he's like, he spends like the first meeting between them torturing him. Well, not really torturing him, but he's like butt naked and he's like, beats him up. And like, he just keeps hitting him and just being like, I'm done. Like, and he just puts up with it. Micro just takes all his shit. And in the end, is grateful to him. And there's me just being like, I don't know. I felt sorry for him, but yeah, I did like their bromance, and I thought Micro was actually a pretty good actor. Another Netflix show, which we've been watching. Well, me and you, Mindhunter.
Mindhunter, yeah.
So I don't know if we've actually properly spoken about it.
Have we not? I'm sure we must have.
Have you finished the whole thing?
Yeah.
So is it not ongoing? Is it a finished product?
So it's one of those ones that was just.
What?
I think we didn't talk about it because we didn't want to spoil it.
How many seasons is it as well?
Just currently 1.
10 episodes.
So it's
so it is an ongoing series. It's one that season 2 could be coming out. It's not. It's not completely finished.
No. They are going to do a series 2. Yeah. I believe. So it's like 2 FBI investigators who basically.
This is like the beginning,
70s, right?
This is like the beginning of the behavioural science way of tracking serial killers.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So is it almost Dexter-esque?
No, because that does follow the serial killer.
Oh yeah, it's just
Yeah, so it's like a young kind of.
It's more like Hannibal.
Yes. Yeah, the TV show Hannibal.
Yeah.
It's like a young FBI agent who's got some good ideas, and he has a partner who's older, but also like a bit more stubborn, but also similar ideas, and they like interview serial killers to try and help other cases. But I'm 4 episodes in, and there isn't really like a villain. Like, it's just basically just them.
No, it's
going
just
to
a drama,
places.
Isn't it? It's or a thriller.
Or it's kind of like True Detective.
Yeah.
The first few episodes of that, when it's just Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey just sitting there like, chewing the fat. But
because you were asking if it's about them actually solving a case, was
yeah. Well, I mean, it feels so. There's been kind of a couple of scenes with an ADT guy. Like,
what's that?
It's like an alarm company.
Right.
Like he's going into their house to like install alarms, but he seems pretty sinister. So I'm assuming that he is a killer and that they will be investigating him. Am I right?
Don't know, mate. You have to wait and see. You have to keep on watching.
I mean, it's 10 episodes and I'm almost halfway through, and there isn't really any sort of overall plot. It's just kind of us following them on their exploration, which is interesting, but considering each episode's 45 to 50 minutes, I'm a bit like, I want some more kind of motivation to carry on watching it.
I just love that kind of like, you know, them finding out the behavioural science part of it, you know, how like psychology is this huge thing that they've overlooked massively. And they actually talk to, obviously not actual serial killers, but people who are acting as serial killers. Because I looked that up, and I think that was only on episode 8 that I looked it up, and I was like, oh my god, they're actually, this, I thought it was completely fictional.
Like Kemper, Kemper and people, they're real people.
They're all real people.
Damn.
And I was like, shit.
Are the FBI agents real people?
I didn't check that part. Or I can't remember.
But the rest of it, good? Like, I should carry on watching?
Yeah, definitely carry it on. I don't know what they're going to do about the second, because they do mention, like in the first 2 episodes, they talk about Charles Manson. And obviously he's only recently just died, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they'll get the opportunity, because he was like, oh my god, what if we could actually interview him? So I always thought, is there going to be a second season where they actually...
So they actually do real life interviews on this?
No,
it's interviews with people playing real.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
but then Tarantino's next film's going to be within the zeitgeist of the Manson murders.
He's doing one more?
He's doing 2 more.
Yeah, no,
I thought he was out of the game. I thought that was it.
He has, was it...
9, and he said after 10 will be done, and his next one will be 9.
His next one will be 9, and he's going to do the Manson murders.
It's going to be
That
a
is
story.
well out of
It's
the
going to
Tarantino.
be
What?
set.
That's
I think
horrific.
it's going to be set within the zeitgeist of it, in the same way that Inglourious Basterds was set within Nazi Germany, but not necessarily about the war.
Okay, cool.
Is he doing a Kill Bill Volume 3?
I don't know.
And is
I doubt it.
Is that included in his 10? Like, is Kill Bill 1 and 2 included in the 10?
Yeah. I think it's as one.
Yeah.
I think. So you've got Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, then you've got Death Proof, Django, Inglourious Basterds, and Hateful Eight. Yeah. So Kill Bill must be as one, because it's volume 1 and 2. And then you've got this Manson.
So if he makes a volume 3, it's going to be part of it as well?
Potentially. But I don't think he will. I think it's too late. And also Kill Bill volume 2 was shit, in my opinion. Like,
You don't like Kill Bill?
Kill Bill 1 is sick.
Oh, right.
Kill Bill 2 is not good. Kill Bill 1 is all the action. Kill Bill 2 is all the talking.
But it's all meant to be set in the same universe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was it like? They're watching Pulp Fiction?
No, they're watching Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Yeah. So that was 3 jokes.
Yeah. The Tarantino.
Come on, Tarantino.
I've never seen Death Proof,
It's
so...
not very good.
Not.
No.
I think he's got to be one of my favourite like movie writers, directors.
He's really good, isn't he? He's really clever.
I don't know what it is, but it's just the film. They're never really like in a chronological order, are they? They're all over the place.
Yeah.
But you're like, the start with the end of the film for Pulp Fiction. You're like, how do they get to that?
Yeah,
and
that's true.
the dialogue is just so like snappy.
Yeah, that's it as well.
And you get such a quality cast as well to do everything. It's quite good.
I think I need to revisit Jackie Brown because I don't remember enjoying that.
I actually thought it was alright. It was interesting, different. There's next, basically trying to.
What's his favourite one then? Go on. What's your favourite one that he's done?
Oh, I thought he said what his favourite one was then.
No. Me, it'll either be Pulp Fiction or Kill Bill. I think. Well, I do love Django.
No, it's probably Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs for me.
Reservoir Dogs is good. What's the song they have in that? Steely Dan. It's
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. It's one where he's cutting his ear. It's a really famous song, and I can't think of it. It's not Born to Be Wild. Oh, I
Just
don't know.
quickly look it up.
Yeah.
Looking it up.
Makes for great podcasting. It's like, I've got a terrible memory for certain things to do with films. So yeah, I'll continue with Mindhunter. What have you been watching?
So I've been watching. I believe it's called Zumbo's
Stuck in the Middle with You. Yes, of course it is. Stuck in the Middle with You.
Got great soundtracks
So
as well as movies.
So I've been watching Zumbo's Just Desserts.
What the hell is that?
So what's happened here? Yeah. So I've been watching Zimbo's Just Desserts, and it's like like MasterChef and stuff like that, where like it's a judging panel and then people cook to be the best.
Oh, okay.
So this one is an Australian-based show. I think it's Australian-based, or the chef's Australian. One of them, and he's meant to be a famous wacky baker. So he's like almost like the Heston Blumenthal of the baking world.
So it's like Aussie Bake Off.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
And these people have to make the craziest desserts, like a dessert within a dessert within a dessert. And it's just like,
God.
what the hell?
Did they call it Inception?
I should have done.
Cake.
He literally, there was one thing where he had 7 desserts like layered in between each other. I was like, does this even taste nice anymore? Like, really?
Ever seen 6,000 calories on a plate?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like epic mealtime, isn't it?
yeah, well, and so I think it's really good. It's really, I think it's more good because I'm more amazed by some of the things they cook, and I really do like cooking shows, so it's really good. I haven't finished it yet. I've done 10 episodes of 13.
Okay.
Just finished. 13 contestants. There's 12 contestants.
Doesn't it just make you hungry?
Makes me so hungry. I'm so hungry, mate. I'm like, oh.
And then you go downstairs and you're just like snacking on
That's
whatever
it, all the
fruit
snacks,
shit you
yeah.
got in the cupboard, and you're just like, why can't I have this?
What's the best cooking show then?
I mean, MasterChef is pretty good, but it's, I don't know.
Do you like the competition format, or do you like the format
I like
where
seeing what they cook and then getting critiqued on it. I really
So you do like the competition,
yeah.
rather than like Adam Richards going to...
Seeing Man vs Food.
like
I
Man
like
versus-
that.
I like that.
I like that as well.
Like
He can
diners,
do that,
drive-ins
doesn't
and
it?
dives,
Yeah.
and they just go to all these like...
I like food
Right.
challenges as well. So like I watch some online, like some people doing the challenges, and some of them are rubbish challenges, and then others are like, wow, how did you just eat that burger? Like there was a Impossible Big Mac challenge, and it's like you eat 4 Big Mac large meals. 4 was it 4? Or was it 6? One or the other. And like some people did it in like just under an hour. Like Furious Pete, who's like quite good, and this guy, I've forgotten his name, he did it in like 5 minutes.
What?
Yeah. He
Blend
ate
it.
It must have like
No,
vacuumed it.
No, he literally was like munched it. I was
Oh my
just like,
God.
and he had 4 milkshakes as well. I was like, what the hell?
He
Like,
must have
how
had
Proper
raw
brain
brain
freeze.
freeze.
But he literally, he does that. He's not entertaining to watch. But I think I'm amazed by the amount he can consume, and then it does make me hungry, and I'm like, yeah, I want some food.
Or what about like the Gordon Ramsay ones, like where he's just like, what the fuck is this fucking pile
I
of
love
shit?
watching that. I watched that one, and I watched the one where he like goes to the failing restaurants, and then he like tries to do it up.
Hotel Hell or
Yeah, I
something.
think all these programs are so funny because, like, the thing is as well, like, I just don't get it, like, how you can be a judge of food, because like everyone has their own different tastes. So I could like say you could hate something, like I don't particularly
Yeah.
like onions, but you might love them, and then like if
Same
I'm
with-
eating something and I'm judging it, I don't like the onions, I'm gonna be like, well, I don't like this dish.
Yeah, but we are judging films and TV, and we've all got very different opinions.
But we're not giving out a prize at the end of the day.
No, that's true.
So like
yeah.
they're getting £1 million or whatever.
That's very true. Yeah,
Um,
it's all subjective.
yeah.
But then yeah,
But yeah, I really like their cooking shows, and I think this one's quite interesting. So yeah, whether I watch this season 2 out is another thing. Like, I'm not gonna religiously watch it, but
I saw a video
It's
of
quite
so Ramsay does that, but he does a kids show now as well. So these kids are like doing the things,
Oh,
but he's
God.
like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But someone's edited it, so it's all his insults. What the fuck is that? And these kids are like crying.
I still never get over that idiot sandwich one. Like, how could you demoralise someone so much to put 2 pieces of bread over their ears and be like, you're an idiot sandwich?
Mate, I got that from me at Halloween.
Yeah. That bread did not last long at all in that club.
About 5 minutes.
Yeah. Also caught up with a TV programme I watched called Once Upon a Time.
oh, is that like the
So it's
fairy tale one?
Fairy tale ones, but like, I would say more realism brought to them, but there's
Is it
magic and stuff.
darker?
Well, so this season it's so I think we're on season 7. Basically, what's happened is we've had the first, I think, 6 seasons where it's not about him, but it's a boy called, oh my god, I've forgotten his name.
Prince Charming.
No, Prince Charming's his granddad. Snow White's his grandma. Emma Swan's his mum, who is more based. It's based on her.
Who's Emma Swan?
She's dubbed the saviour, so I think it's more related to her. But her son, what's her son's name? Can you look out for me? He basically, this season is like, I think it's 7 years later or 10 years later from some years later. I don't know how long, but he's grown up now. Like it's not the same. It's not the kid actor.
Right.
It's a grown up actor, and basically the whole idea of the show is that
Henry Mills.
Henry Mills, that's the one. How old is his character grown up? Does it say?
God, no.
No, don't worry. Anyway, so basically, in the first 6 seasons, or first 5, I can't remember what season we're on, there's a curse that's been cast on the fairy tale world. All the fairy tale characters have been brought to the real world, and they live in this place called Storybrooke. And they can't leave this area, and they don't ever leave this area. It's like the norm to just stay in this place. And then it's like basically Henry Mills bringing his mum into Storybrooke, and then basically trying to defeat the Queen and get everyone back to reality, and thinking because they don't remember who they are. They just think they're normal people. And then he's like, oh, but you're Prince Charming, and you're Snow White, and you're the evil queen, and stuff like that. They go on their adventures. It's quite clever how they incorporate all these different stories into this one series. But this one starts with Henry Mills like, I've got to live my own life, I'm going off. And they're like, that's fine. Then you see a few years later, and he's back in fairy tale lands for God knows what reason, and he falls in love. And then basically a little girl knocks on his door and's like, I'm your daughter. And he's like, I don't have a daughter, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, well, because there's this book that normally has all the stories in, because Henry Mills is the writer. So I think they make it so that Walt Disney's like evil. I think it's Walt Disney. And basically he's the writer, and he makes his own stories up, and he changes stories, and so Henry Mills can do the same.
Okay.
But in this real world, he's just an author, and another curse has been set, so none of them remember it again. But they're not in this storybook place, they're in a real town.
Is it a reboot?
It's got the same characters in, but less of the main ones. So yeah, technically it's a reboot.
This doesn't sound like something that you usually watch.
Well, it's quite interesting. Like, I like how they incorporate the different fairy tales into the real world kind of thing, and then like
Seven Dwarfs.
Well, they were in it, yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Literally anything. Hades was in it. The witch from
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz was
Peter
in
Pan?
it. Peter Pan was in it.
God.
Rumpelstiltskin. So basically, the whole Henry Mills family line is Henry Mills. His mum's Emma Swan, who we don't know who she is. Then I've forgotten who his dad is, but his dad's dad is Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin's dad's Peter Pan, I think. And Peter Pan's dubbed as evil in this, so he's like stealing children rather than that kind of thing. Then his stepmom's the evil queen, who's then married to falls in love with Robin Hood. Emma Swan, who is his real mum, she gets married to Captain Hook.
Mindfuck.
His granddad Rumpelstiltskin gets married to Bella, because he's
from Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, because Rumpelstiltskin is the beast in this. So
so much retconning going on, man.
Rumpelstiltskin is basically he's the dark one, and he's got like loads of bad magic powers, and basically he orchestrates loads of stories. So like he'll put something in place to make it happen the way it should happen. So it's really clever. I think in the first 6 seasons it's really good that they've got like Rumpelstiltskin as the main. He's like a villain, but he's an anti-villain at the same time. So there's points where he's doing it for his own agenda, and then there's other times where he looks like he's genuinely trying to help someone, but then you eventually find out he's doing it for his own agenda again. And it's crazy, it's good. I just don't know how this season's going to go so far. I'm engaged, but I'm like, it's not the same as the old one, but it's still good though.
Isn't there a TV show called Grimm, which is similar, like the Brothers Grimm?
So Grimm. No, Grimm.
Is it called The Grimm?
I think it's Grimm. No, you're right. It's just Grimm. That's the guy who's got the ability to see the monsters, I think.
Oh, okay.
And they just start hiding in plain sight, kind of thing. It's like almost like Buffy the Vampire
I was going to
Slayer.
say like Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, yeah.
Oh, mate.
But that's actually a decent TV series. I've only seen season 1 though. But I think
Buffy?
No. Well, I've seen a bit of Buffy.
Grimm.
Grimm, yeah, I've seen season 1.
We all saw Buffy.
Yeah. Buffy Angel. Yeah. But
That's
so many series that I'd love to
I might
watch
check
again.
that out once
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, do it. It's interesting. I mean, there's I think to begin with, you gotta stick it out for a few episodes, and then it's like, yes, I'm gonna watch it. See, which series I really want to watch is that one where they go into like a game. No, not a game. The icon for it's like a person standing like that in a circle around him.
Westworld.
That's what I really want to watch.
Yes, do it.
I'd like to see that.
It's great. First season, I think they said, I don't know what they said, however much it was, £1 million for the first opening scene or something.
Really? Wow. Bet that's...
Have you finished American Gods?
Yeah.
Was that good?
I didn't enjoy that as much as Joe sold it to me. I mean, I only wanted to see it for that bit when he was like, yeah, someone gets eaten by someone's fanny.
Does he?
Yeah, but it was chat. I didn't enjoy that as much though, but definitely watch Westworld.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for that.
I really want to finish the TV series. And do you have Amazon Prime, or did you just watch it?
No.
I said
Mate, you've got channels 1 to 5, isn't it?
True. But there's a TV series called Sneaky Pete, which I think I did talk about in a previous podcast. So I really want to finish watching. It's just fun at the time to do so, isn't it? Really. I'd love to watch. I need to finish watching Lucifer, and I'd love to watch that that DC TV series that Seth Rogen had part in making.
I don't know.
It's got a vampire. It's got a. I can't remember the name of it. It's gonna really bug me. Oh well.
I started watching something yesterday called The Sinner. It's
The
a TV
Sinner,
show on
it's
Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
It's got Jessica Biel in it and Bill Pullman. So I've only seen one episode, and it's not a spoiler because it's basically in the synopsis. But Jessica Biel's this like wife with her family, and she goes to the beach with her family, and then like there's a group of kind of 20 something, and they're getting off and they're playing loud music. Anyway, she just gets up and stabs one of them to death, and it's like completely like at odds with.
It sounds about right.
with
Yeah,
her.
it sounds right for you, mate.
And then Bill Pullman's a policeman who, it's like an open and shut case because she's like, yeah, I did it. She's obviously like remorseful, but she's like, yeah, I'm not going to plead not guilty or anything.
Yeah,
and then he's like investigating it. He's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, she doesn't fit the profile for killer, blah, blah, blah. And then his partner's like, it's open and shut. Why are we making this more complicated? And then it ends with the trial, and she's like, what do you plead? And then you see Jessica Biel about to speak. I mean, I'm assuming she'll plead guilty because she can't really not. But
you see the scene where she kills this person?
Yeah. And there's like
loads but obviously the police don't.
And she admits it as well.
True. That is quite interesting though, because it then, like for the police, if you've got to look at every angle.
But they've got like 20 eyewitnesses, and she confesses, and like, all this stuff.
Okay, but part of the eyewitnesses, even if someone confesses, that is not generally the whole story, is it?
But then I don't really know what the thrust of this series is, but then there are flashbacks to when she's like a really young child, and like her mum's a bit of a bitch basically, and she's got like a young sister who in the flashback is newborn, but she's like really, really ill, and like you see the baby and it's like blue and like horrible, and her mum seems to like mistreat her. So I don't know whether there's something weird going on there that might impact her, because there's a scene where she says her husband visits her in prison, and she says, I really want to thank you for helping me have some sort of normal life. And so you kind of think there must be something in her past that's caused her to do this. So it's interesting. I don't know whether it's going to be like horror. I don't know whether it's going to be psychological thriller. I don't know if it's just going to be drama, but it's interesting. It's called The Sinner.
Sinner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
And to continue the Netflix theme, unfortunately we're not sponsored by them, but we just watch a lot of their content.
Taking over the world, aren't they?
We both saw that Jim Carrey documentary, which is called Jim and Andy.
Yeah, Jim and Andy.
So it's the documentary about Jim Carrey reflecting on his method performance as Andy Kaufman in the 90s film Man on the Moon.
Did you watch Man on the Moon?
No, but I really want to see it.
I do, but it's just like he like goes full method acting, like.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it.
It is mad.
People were like, they started off like, oh yeah, he's a really good method actor, and then they're like, he's getting really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
But it was like some sort of existential crisis, because he was like, oh yeah, Andy was basically like speaking through me, and also like Andy Kaufman had this alter ego called Tony. I can't remember the surname, but so Jim Carrey was portraying Andy, who was portraying this guy, and like the director says to Jim Carrey, he's like, oh, so Jim, you come around my house for dinner on Friday, and he's like, who? He's like, oh, of course, like Andy, like, and he's like, I'm not coming around your house for dinner. Jim might be, but I'm not. And he's like, oh my god, can you just ask Jim? Then you see him next if he's coming around my house.
It's mad, like to think like the thing that got me was like how he got back, like you didn't really see it, but he had to get back to being himself after once it had all been finished.
Jim Carrey's quite crazy personality anyway, isn't he?
That's why I think maybe he is.
But he also seems deeply unhappy. because he was like, oh, I can't remember it verbatim, but he was like, oh, I, put on these caricatures to, like, make himself happy, but he was like, yeah, I'm unhappy and all these things, and it was like quite like heartbreaking, really.
Well, what is a Hollywood actor without some
demons?
Yeah.
Well, he did have is it he the one with the girlfriend
who committed suicide a couple of years ago, and his dad's death seemed to affect him quite a lot.
Well, he was a prime suspect, wasn't he? Because they were like, "This is on you, Jim Carrey."
What, the suicide?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he went to trial for it. I think I don't know if they finished it.
What, for the suicide? Or did they think it was murder?
Well, I think they were implying it might have been assisted.
Oh, fair enough. But I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, it is mad. It is mad. Like there's a scene where what was his first name? Sorry, I remember.
Andy.
Andy. I remember his surname, but not his bloody first name. Where Andy's like having an interview with someone, and this wrestler hits him. But did he hit him in real life, or was it staged in real life?
Staged, because they were friends.
But then when Jim Carrey did it, Jim Carrey as Andy, so many names, was like, just hit me, and so he did. And I was just like, what?
He went to hospital, didn't he?
Yeah, and he was egging him on. Like there was a wrestling competition, and he egged the guy on so much the guy actually hurt him.
So this movie actually came out of Jim Carrey. Portraying.
Yeah. What's it called again?
I think it's just Jim and Andy.
No, the film.
Oh, Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon. And he said that it helped with his performance for the Truman Show, didn't he? I thought
Truman Show's before this one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but wasn't he doing this one? Because he was doing the 3 major films and this one. Because he couldn't. I thought he said at some point he couldn't say no to anything because he was essentially nobody at this point. But he wasn't.
This
that
film's
famous.
after. I think this was the late 90s, but he was saying, because he said he wrote himself a check for $10 million, didn't he?
Yeah, but I thought he said at some point that he took this job because he wasn't really anyone. So I assumed it was a long project. I don't know. Maybe I misheard it, but. I think he was implying he did method acting for the Truman Show and stuff like that. Because, that's a really good film.
I haven't seen it. It's on my
Have you
list.
not?
It's incredible.
Mate, it is amazing. It's like, you do think about it sometimes. You think to yourself, is this real? Am I being filmed? And he literally lived that he'd had a film all about that.
But he said that a lot of the films he chooses are kind of typical of how he's feeling at that time. So Truman Show's like, obviously his
isolated,
celebrity
paranoid.
was being increasing, and he was obviously felt lonely even though everyone was watching him. And then
maybe that's where I misconstrued it then. Okay.
And I guess the Mask is again, that was his first big sort of film. Who is he? What
was the 3 films? It was Truman Show, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber.
No, it was Dumber and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask.
Quality films, all of them.
And then Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind was when he was in a dark place, because that's about forgetting. If you haven't seen that, then that is brilliant.
It's a good way to become a successful actor, but as mentally, that's probably the worst way to do stuff.
I'm thinking where was he in a place for Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. No, but that's the thing. He was saying he created these silly personas to I guess mask how he was really feeling.
It kind of does shed light on whether this is the real Jim Carrey right now, really. What projects he got in the pipeline where he's going to be an absolute... he looks like a homeless man.
I did worry for his mental well-being, really, watching it.
There was a thing where they went to the Playboy Mansion. Jim got invited, and so someone else dressed up as Andy. No, not Tony. Tony character, and he thought it was Jim Carrey. So he's talking to him as if it's Jim Carrey, and then later on Jim Carrey turned up, and he was fuming because he was like, "Who the hell is this guy I've just let in?" But it was all staged by Jim Carrey, but
it also
was mad.
Some of it also felt a bit kind of exploitative because. As Andy Kaufman, he was talking to Andy Kaufman's widow and his dad, and also...
Didn't they say they found it quite nice?
Yeah, but he was basically saying, oh yeah, the time that we did this, blah, 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 and he's like, oh, I love you, Dad, and they were really emotional because I guess they must have felt that he was really encapsulating his performance.
Yeah.
But he also spoke to this guy's daughter, and his daughter had never met her dad, but then she was like, oh yeah, I've met him now, but it's But it's not.
Yeah,
You
it's
met Jim
pretty-
Carrey, who is playing your dad.
I mean, they're the fools for even going on stage and allowing this communication to happen. So.
Yeah, but then people like Danny DeVito and the director seemed really uncomfortable with a lot of it. Like, there's one point Danny DeVito's like, I don't want to be a part of this because it's when he gets cancer. So Andy Kaufman died of cancer in his 30s, and then Jim Carrey was basically like really emaciating himself and like shaved his head and was basically acting like he had cancer. And then like Danny DeVito was like, even off camera, and Danny DeVito was like, I don't want to be a part of this. It's like,
is he the small one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, this is too far.
That's crazy.
It was a bit.
Method
like,
acting is
yeah.
like you just lose yourself. Like
Well,
Daniel Day-Lewis does that, doesn't he?
Well,
Yeah.
some people even die from it. Like, what's his face?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it does make me want to watch Man on the Moon.
Tell you what, loads of people want to watch Man on the Moon now.
Yeah, and it made me like, do you know REM, the band?
Yeah.
There's a couple of songs, so it's like Man on the Moon, like that was the film was named after it, and there's,
He was meant to be in it, wasn't he?
yeah, but if you listen to the lyrics, like it's actually that song's about Andy Kaufman because
Yeah.
there's like Andy, the lyric is, Andy, did you hear about this one? Are you goofing off Elvis? And they refer to Andy Kaufman a lot during that song.
But basically, they invited Jim afterwards to portray Andy in this music video, and because Jim had finished production and everything for this film, he just basically didn't turn up because he was like, I cannot go back to being that character again.
Yeah.
It's too like damaging.
Mm.
Well, I feel like the damage is already by far done.
That would mess you up.
Yeah.
Because you'd probably be like, what happened this past year? Because I wasn't me, I was someone
Yeah.
else.
That's pretty much what he said.
Yeah,
to you,
yeah.
but
Really?
That's pretty
Yeah.
much what he said.
Oh.
But he must have pissed off a lot of people because he was a prick.
Yeah, he was.
He was a
absolute-
massive
And then,
prick.
wasn't there was one part where he brought loads of biker gang people over to have like beers.
Hells
with them.
Angels.
And I thought, my God, if you piss them off, you're gonna be done for.
They're not a gang, they're a club.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah,
Jared
it was-
Leto does all this method acting. He was like
Who?
sending Jared Leto. For
Oh,
the
yeah.
joke. He was like sending rats or something. To
But
Margot
he
Robbie,
seems-
apparently.
as crazy as some of his characters are, he seems like he's quite controlling of his craze. So to do method acting, I feel like he directs some of his stuff. Because have you seen any 30 Seconds to Mars videos?
I've seen a couple.
They are messed up. So I feel like he's in that mindset already, and then he can channel some of it to his method acting for like the Joker or whatever else he's done. I think he's been in.
Blade Runner.
And he was in that horror film, wasn't he? Ages ago. It was
Urban Legend.
Urban Legend. So I think some people, it's better for them to method act. Well, not better, but they can channel it better
Yeah.
rather than what Jim Carrey did and then was just like immersed himself.
Yeah, but that is method acting,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I
It's-
know,
He's
I know.
becoming someone else.
I know.
Yeah.
But that was to an extreme level.
But it was to the point where I think he didn't even think of it as acting. He was Andy Kaufman.
Mm.
So and that's the most like disturbing part of it, really.
What were the two clips that? So they showed one clip of him on the Oprah Winfrey show, which I'd already seen, about him writing a check for 10 million in 5 years' time, and then
Oh yeah.
he did that. Well, there wasn't that. Was there another scene? Was it a graduate ceremony? Am I
Well, there's
making
one
that
where
up?
he goes on that black guy's TV show, and he is pretending to be drunk, and he takes a swing at him.
But that's as Andy Kaufman.
No, that was as Jim Carrey.
What was it?
Yeah, so was the Oprah Winfrey one. They were just like flashbacks to Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I knew the Oprah Winfrey one was. I just okay, that's the other flashback then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I would recommend it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and definitely the Truman Show.
Yeah,
If you-
no,
and mate,
that's been
and
on my
if-
list for
if
a
you haven't
long
watched
time.
Dumb and Dumber and The Mask and
Of course,
or Ace
Who
Ventura.
hasn't seen them?
Well, you haven't watched the Truman Show, mate.
True. Haven't seen Dumb and Dumber 2 though.
Have you seen?
Don't
You've seen
bother.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
I don't think so.
That's a brilliant film.
Yeah,
Can you message me that one
Yeah.
and the Moon one?
fair enough.
I'll
Well,
watch them
I'm going to
probably.
talk about a film that I've seen.
Oh.
Our favourite, Halle Berry.
Oh, don't say you watched
Yeah.
Kidnap.
We talked about that like. a few
Yeah, I was
weeks
gonna
ago.
say, shit.
No, I watched. So it's called The Call.
Okay.
And it is about.
I saw the trailer for that one. It looked quite interesting.
It is really good.
Yeah, okay.
It's a big thriller. I wouldn't say so much a horror, but it
Chuck that in there as well.
keeps you on your toes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. She is playing a call operator for the emergency services. So 911 in America. How can I help you? Blah 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 blah. And so essentially that she is on the phone and something terrible happens. There's a kidnapping and she kind of like loses it. And she gets taken off the phones because it turns into this huge case that she had made a mistake and fucked up. And so everyone's kind of judging her. She's on the news. Well, not her, but what happens is on the news. And it's kind of like it's her internal guilt. So she's like, I can't ever be an operator again because I caused this really bad thing to happen. Yeah. So she's then goes as a like a trainer to train up new people for getting ready to be on the phones. And then suddenly a call comes in and it is relating to the first incident.
Right. Okay.
But she doesn't know it to begin with. She's just like, okay, I'm just going to go in and help out this person who's struggling on the phone. Turns out that it's a kidnapping that is, again, related to the first instance that she was freaking out about. And it is really, really good because you're following her, not so much, but you are following the storyline of the kid who's been taken. But as Halle Berry, like, okay, you've got to do this, because you want to fucking survive, don't you?
Yeah.
And you're also following the kidnapper, who's then like in this like struggle because everything that he's doing is just falling apart because Halle Berry kind of knows him on a secret level. But it turns out it turns into a really good suspense film, and eventually she goes forward as I'm gonna go rogue and find this guy myself.
Okay.
As she does. She's back, man. She's back.
Is this new?
I don't know. She's back. I'm just back from like Catwoman because she killed her career then.
I think she's killed it again. With that, to be fair.
She did a she does a TV series on Amazon.
Yeah.
I did watch the first season.
I watched the first episode. What's it called? The Expanse? No,
that's a film, I think. Oh no, is it called The Expanse?
Oh, no, it's a sci-fi one, isn't it?
I cannot remember what really happens in it. That says volumes about it, really.
She's probably going to be in the next X-Men. No?
Well, it depends if they get taken. Well, no, yeah, she will be. This is what makes me think that when the takeover happens, it will have the rights to then cast.
I don't know. I think they need to rejig it, don't they? Like,
I don't think anyone would be too fussed if Halle Berry wasn't Storm anymore.
No, but then they've got the younger cast, is what I mean.
Oh, right.
Coming up to be the new cast, aren't they?
Yeah, oh, right. Yeah. We need to do a projection for next year for what films we want to watch.
Yeah, well, there's a few films I want to watch at the moment. What's Battle of the Sexes has just come out. I want to watch that. And
I really want to see Daddy's Home too.
I'm not bothered about that.
Why?
Apparently it's quite funny.
It looks great.
There's another film though. There's another. So
It's
there's
so
no John Nero on it. Oh, Suburbicon.
Yeah.
That came out. I
Yeah.
want to see that.
And Matt Damon's in that. Have you seen the trailer for that?
Downsizing.
Shrink film. Yeah,
Downsizing. That looks sick.
So what's it's Suburbicon? Oh, the one where he's on the tricycle yeah. And the Downsizing looks pretty jokes actually.
I also really want to see The Disaster Artist with James Franco and Dave Franco and Seth Rogen.
That sounds like it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
But
I've seen the film that it's about.
Oh really?
The Room, and that room is terrible.
Is it?
Yeah, but James Franco from the clips I've seen looks like it's this really good performance. Like you've seen the trailer where he comes out of the thing, he's like, I did not hear there, I did not. Hi Mark, and it's just like when you watch, if you've seen the film The Room, then you know that how terrible that is and how well he's doing it.
Okay.
So I think
I might watch The Room.
I love
then.
everything they like. James Franco, Seth Rogen, even Dave Franco. Like they have such good chemistry.
Yeah. When's it out?
December 1st, which I think is next Friday.
What's that?
Let me know when you go and watch it.
The Disaster Artist.
I'll see it. I'll see it Sunday before the pod maybe with you.
If it's in Beckenham Odeon, then like maybe, but I can't imagine Beckenham Odeon's going to show that sort of film.
But I'll tell you what.
We'll try and watch it.
People underestimate him, but James Franco's actually a well good actor.
James Franco or Dave Franco?
Well, Dave's good as well, but James is actually a really sick actor. Like he can do performances really like that one he did with not Seth one who was in Superbad.
Jonah Hill?
Yeah, the one he did with Jonah Hill where he's pretending to be Jonah Hill in the film.
Yeah, well, it's called was it just called Truth or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
That was really good.
Really good.
That was just like a drama,
yeah.
and like he can actually do dramatic roles.
Yeah, so apparently he does loads of mini films, but no one really pays attention to.
He
but
does seem like
it-
he's incredibly hardworking.
Yeah,
actor.
he does stuff that he wants to do as well as stuff that he needs to do to get the money. And he did that.
Yeah, they just seem they have a laugh, don't they?
Yeah,
Like,
that's it.
like-
Especially that this is the end.
Yeah,
They were
I was
just
just thinking
actually-
that.
that is
So yeah,
like
literally having the
jokes.
best time ever in that. Oh mate.
I even think he's quite. I like the variety of roles that he takes. Like, it then might not always work, but things like Spring Breakers.
Yeah. I
100
mean, he does that act really well.
Yeah.
But it's just the film itself was just.
127 hours. Like, he's quite
Yeah.
a versatile actor.
Well, this comes up in This Is the End, isn't it? When they go through the floor and he's like in the basement and it's got like the Spider-Man board and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, this is from all the movies I've done.
Pineapple Express.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's a really charismatic actor.
Yeah.
His brother's got a lot of, big shoes to fill, though, isn't he?
He's
Yeah.
doing alright though. Although his other brother, no one's heard of him.
No. It's like the Hemsworths.
Another
They've got a
thing.
third
Yeah, he's an
brother
older
as
one,
well.
I think. He's an artist.
Well,
There's 3 Hemsworths. Only 2 of them are famous.
That's true.
Although the other Hemsworth, I don't know his name, like Liam or something. No, I think that
Liam
he's
is
famous.
one of them. Yeah,
Oh.
Liam's one in Hunger Games.
Let's call him Dave.
Yeah.
He plays Thor in that scene with Matt Damon in Ragnarok.
no way.
Yeah. So you know Matt Damon's playing Loki.
Oh,
Their third brother plays Thor.
Is it? That's
Yeah.
jokes. That is so. I loved when Matt Damon was in that. That was the
That was
funniest
jokes.
thing.
He looked a bit like Snape though, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it in this podcast, but you know Matt Damon has this running joke with is it Jimmy Kimmel? No.
Yeah, where he.
But is it Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it
When
the other
they-
guy?
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh no. Where they hate.
Where they hate each other.
Yeah.
Is it Jimmy Kimmel?
I think so. I can't remember. They're all...
Nah, it's not Jimmy Kimmel.
No. It's the youngish guy. I don't know. Well, who's Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, he's another one.
Jimmy Fallon's the younger one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel versus Matt Damon.
But then doesn't he do an impression of? Oh, he does an impression of someone, doesn't he?
Who? Who's this now?
Matt Damon on that show. No.
I don't know, but he has a running joke with Jimmy Kimmel that they don't like each other, and he always sneaks onto the show to like take the mick and stuff. And then obviously I didn't understand it to begin with because I didn't know Matt Damon was in Thor, and there's like a set production, and Jimmy Kimmel was talking to Hemsworth. Which Hemsworth is this?
Chris
Hemsworth, and he's saying, "Oh, you've got someone I don't really like staying with you at the moment." He was like, "Oh, you mean Matt? Yeah. He's all right if you get to know him." And then they're backstage, and it's got Tiger Waititi. Is that his name?
I'm impressed.
I know, mate. And then you got Mark Ruffalo, and then all of a sudden the camera you can see in the corner like Matt Damon's head just there, and I'm like, why is he sitting there with him? And then like obviously because he was in the film, and it was just quite funny, really. So good sketch they have going, but yeah,
Great banter.
yeah.
Good banter, good chemistry.
Jumanji must be out soon as well. Can't
God.
wait for Jumanji.
I don't know if I really want to see
They've
that.
got good chemistry. Kevin
Yeah.
Hart, Dwayne Johnson.
I just
Yeah.
don't like if Jack Black is going to pretend to be like a teenage girl the entire film, it's just going to really annoy me.
Yeah, I mean that probably is going to get quite tedious. Quite
Like,
fast.
oh my gosh, I'm a middle-aged fat man. Like, great. Just shut up.
Nobody's shaming me.
I know, slut shaming.
Slut shaming Jack Black.
Yeah, I'll go and see Disaster Artist and Battle of Sexes and
Suburbicon.
Yeah.
Can't surprise I even remember that name.
It'll be Oscar season
Daddy's
soon.
Home too. Yep.
Oh, sorry,
come
mate.
with you.
Busy this week.
Let's go.
Oscars, yeah, coming back to the Oscars. Done a year.
I know, man.
Have we actually done a year now?
No, it'll be February. Will be a year.
Why?
Well, because that's when we started this podcast.
No, I don't believe you.
I mean, it's a year ago since last November, but
True.
a year in this podcast, not quite. Anything else that you want to talk about this week?
No, mate. There was one other film that I watched, and that was, but I don't think I'm going to do it justice because I don't think I did the cool justice.
Oh.
But it's called the 10-year plan or 10-year plan. It's about two friends who have, one is very much a player and one is very much wants to settle down.
Sort of like me and you then.
And they're like having a dinner because the guy who wants to settle down, like gets stood up again, and he's just like, "What is my life? Why is it so shit?" Blah blah blah. So they're having a dinner and they're like talking. If you know what, mate, because you really want to find love. If in 10 years' time you don't find love, I will marry you and we'll like have our life together. And it turns out like, and it says like the next scene is like 9 years, 10 months, and however many days later.
Oh my gosh!
And so he's starting to freak out because he's like, oh, I really need to find my mate, someone to settle down with, otherwise I'm gonna have to go through with this bet.
Yeah.
And it turns out that, you know, he does actually, because he's known his friend for so long, after 10 years or whatever, and that he finds, you know, these feelings deep down, whilst trying to set him up with someone else, that he actually loves him.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
And it's a really nice story following these two guys. They're gay, just so you know.
Okay, that makes more sense. Right, I'm with you now.
But yeah, no, it would have been weird if they were just heterosexuals then marrying each other.
Yeah.
That being said, I have a bet with Obi that, you know, if this doesn't happen, me and Obi are getting married.
What's the time date? What's the
I
date
don't know, I
stamp
think
on
we
it?
said 5 years, but maybe that's not long enough.
It's amazing that you bring this up when he's not here.
Yeah, well, he knows about it.
Does
he
he?
does. His mum's not pleased. But that's a really, really good film.
Okay.
And it's interesting to see the dynamic of actually having two, I don't want to, say it like this, but having two homosexual characters as the leads, and they're both playing exact opposites of, so one wants to settle down, one is pretty much a player, but they do, they have such great chemistry.
Yeah. Who plays the?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I don't know if it's Netflix or just like an independent movie.
Oh, okay.
But it's really, really good.
Obi was talking about a queer film last week called The Pass, which had two homosexual leads.
Yeah.
It's about footballers, which he said was really good.
Oh yeah. I guess that's kind of more out there, isn't it? Because to be footballing.
Well, I think
Ooh.
that's the whole point of it. Like they had to keep it quite discreet.
Well, I mean, in this, the guy who is pretty much a player is a cop, and you think out of all people, I know obviously to be a police officer you have to be very aware of people's, diversity and people's different orientations and sexual orientations, things like that. But he just does it really well because he has a partner who's obviously a heterosexual, but they're playing this band with each other.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's like showing him like pictures on Grindr. He's like, you really don't want this cock.
That's
and he's like, okay, I'm going to take you out for drinks tonight. Where do you want to go? And they end up going to a gay bar, and it's funny.
Oh, that's jokes.
Seeing that chemistry as well, because it would have been very awkward. Because I thought at first, because they're having a banter, but he's like, know what you're doing, because you might get that feeling like in a gym kind of atmosphere, like, oh, you're going to be checking out other guys, sort of thing. But it's not that. It's completely opposite, and they have this really good relationship, which I liked.
So it's quite a progressive film in terms of its kind of sexual politics, would you say?
Yeah.
Nice one.
Sure. You're getting a lot of that now, aren't we? I saw a thing the other day, and it was about how back in the day, like having a disability was seen as being a villain. So like Quasimodo, Frankenstein. Whereas now you're getting like the exact opposite, aren't you? Because people are like, there's that film Wonder with Owen Wilson.
That's what I was about to say.
Julia
Yeah,
Roberts.
I actually really want to see that. It looks quite.
What's that about?
It's about a kid. I don't know what he's got, but his face is
Oh,
a bit.
I've heard of that one.
I don't know if it was like a burn or something, or
Maybe it might have been
just a disfigurement.
Yeah.
But it's about him getting confidence. Isn't it?
And he's going to school for the first time, and they're worried that he's obviously going to get
like
bullied, and then
Films about disability, it's great that they're increasing, but it's still able-bodied actors that are playing these people. Like there's that Jake Gyllenhaal film coming out where he plays the Boston Marathon runner who's has a double leg amputee. You just think
I do agree that maybe more people with these disabilities should play these roles, but then at the same time, isn't that an actor's role to play someone else?
True, but there are disabled actors who are unable to get work because there are able-bodied people playing the role. It's like if every film with homosexuals in were played by heterosexuals. You just think you're trying to push like diversity of the stories you're telling, but you're not pushing the diversity of.
But if Jake
actors.
Gyllenhaal wasn't playing it, you'd be like, "What is this film? Who is that person?"
This is it. So
it's that name, isn't it?
Yeah.
True, but you're never.
Because you don't get someone with mental health problems to play Hannibal Lecter, do you?
No, but there are certain
This is true.
things. But if you're playing like someone with an amputee, then you're CGI.
How many? I mean, this is maybe increases your point. But how many really famous amputee actors are there out there?
None, because
But this
I know of.
is why it increases your
Exactly.
point, and then almost goes against your point a little bit as well, because it goes against it because you want a big famous actor in your film, but then it goes for you because no one's giving them the
But
opportunity
then this
to do
sort
it.
of film, like the emotional weight of it, is probably gonna make people see it. And
True.
also, like you're talking about 10-year plan with people that you don't know. But I mean, I don't know whether those actors
It turned out to be a good film. Yeah, I don't know if they were gay or not.
They might not be,
True.
but you know, it
Well,
doesn't.
it's like Modern Family. One of the guys in that isn't homosexual. One
Yeah.
of them is.
I mean, I'm not saying that every character who is disabled or is homosexual or you know whatever
Yeah.
should be played by someone. But when you've got like
Sometimes you should make the point to put someone in that role, because you've got to give
I mean,
opportunities
it's like,
to everyone.
it's like
isn't
Andrew
it?
Garfield in the film Breathe. Like he said, which was quite like honest of him. He was like, yeah, it was hard to play the guy who had polio, but he was like, but after every scene, I was able to get up and walk about, and he never was able to do that.
Yeah.
So you just sort of think like, obviously they're good actors, but there needs to be more, for me anyway, more disabled roles for disabled people. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever seen he's a British actor who's got silver hair and he's had thalidomide, so he's got like kind of disfigured arms. But he's in like American Horror Story Freak Show. He was in that one that Channel 4 did a few years ago about disabled people. But I mean, he's like a fairly prominent actor, but he's still not in like anything mainstream.
True. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I think we actually talked about this a few weeks back as well. How like, if you're a writer, how do you write a story that properly reflects the person who has gone through this?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about a disability, or if it was like someone, I can't remember.
Yeah,
if,
we
like
did
mental
talk about
health,
the
or
other week,
if
yeah.
like you know, like how does a guy write about a woman character who's experienced something?
It was about that TV Atypical, wasn't it? As someone who has
Is it
Asperger's.
ADHD?
yeah. How can someone
That was it.
yeah, who doesn't have it? In fact, yeah. But then that's one where could you put an actor in who has what was it again?
Asperger's.
Yeah, into a situation because maybe they'll feel really uncomfortable not having all those people around them.
Yeah, but
But I
then,
suppose it depends how severe it is and everything. And et cetera,
yeah,
but
then if they were uncomfortable with it, they probably wouldn't be an actor.
that's true. Yeah, that is very true. Yeah. Kudos to you on that one. You win that war.
I mean, it's one of
What
those
about-
Won the war. Yeah.
one of those things. I mean, it kind of feels like Hollywood does these things in stages, like you know.
Oh, Hollywood's so fucking
Yeah,
fucked.
but
it's like they don't.
the stories they've had over the past 2
Yeah.
years.
But it just feels like they
Christ.
don't try and
They're not
cover
progressive
all.
enough, are they?
They don't do it all at once. It's kind
Yeah.
of like, okay, well this year we'll focus on homosexuality, and then we'll do race,
'Cause
and
to
then
be-
you
to
know
be fair,
disability will become later.
You know, like I agree with you because I think like they should have more disabled actors doing the roles of disabled characters, and maybe if they do want to have it so they have famous people in it, they just have a secondary main character who then
Or have like a famous producer, like Jake Gyllenhaal. I've not seen his film, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have played him. I'm not saying his performance would be bad, but I just kind of feel like, is there no one in a similar situation that could portray this person? And obviously, I think it does have the blessing of the actual guy. So I'm not saying like,
Yeah, you've got to please that audience. Haven't you?
yeah,
Does the guy in the Punisher have? Is that?
I don't know.
Is he okay?
the one amputee leg.
All I think about is the guy who is in the wheelchair from Glee. So there's just a video of him getting up, and I didn't know he could walk. I was like, what? Oh my god!
Yeah, that's
They're lies.
Yeah.
The guy in Breaking Bad though, he's in real life. He's got that,
But
hasn't
he
he?
exaggerated his
Okay.
cystic fibrosis.
Okay.
Cerebral palsy.
Why did they make him exaggerate it?
I
Is it
think.
to show
Well, I think because
the struggles of that family trying to keep up the payments of everything? Maybe.
I think, but yeah, I mean, thankfully, I don't know of any actor who's tried to portray a Down syndrome person. That'd be horrendous.
South Park.
Although there is, what's that one that Johnny Knoxville's in? Do you remember that one? He tries to go to the Special Olympics. It's called like The Ringer or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I just thought that was so like distasteful.
Well, this is it. So some people would essentially, and I don't, would find it humorous, and some people would think, oh,
I remember first watching Scary Movie when he's off to Dewey.
oh my gosh.
Doofy, that's his name. And I found it hilarious. And I rewatched it and I was like, I don't know whether this is like distasteful or if it's because he's not portraying any that I'm aware of any particular disability. He's just being stupid. So I think that's
The whole film's stupid, mate.
It's fucking hilarious, that film. But yeah, so that was a bit of a
But yeah,
That's an
deep.
interesting topic of conversation.
was. Yeah, if you've got any thoughts on anything we've spoken about today, please do tweet us at YSC Podcast 17. You can follow us, you can share our content, give us a 5-star review on iTunes and SoundCloud. We're also on Facebook and Instagram under Your Average Critics. So please do tweet us with questions, comments, topics for us to discuss, films for us to watch. We would love to hear from you. And yeah, we'll try and watch some more films for next week and stuff that's preferably not on Netflix.
Well, I think I'm going to watch loads of stuff on Netflix now, just some random bits and pieces.
Netflix sponsor us.
we got to come up with something for next week.
Oh yeah, what should we watch?
I still want to watch that Mudbound.
Who?
Mudbound? It's the one that I think Obi mentioned it. But it's on Netflix actually.
Oh, Mudbound it is. Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, peace.
All right.
Bye.